Hello, folks. This is Ben Gessel. I have some thoughts about something that I've mentioned recently that was happening amongst all the Mormons, LDS folks in, well, basically everywhere. A lot of places in the United States, but certainly where I live as well. The Abundant Life Conference, which I've generally had not so great of feelings for in previous videos. But to be honest, it's, well, I'm trying to get to all this stuff here as we go. So, as these things go, you know, it's true that there was a fair number of people that were from different parts of Puget Sound that came way up to Redmond for this. Commendable. And some of it's going to be Redmond, some of it's going to be Bellevue. At least one of it's going to be in Southern Bellevue. So I knew only a minority of people that were there initially. At least I thought I did. And it turns out I probably know a few more than I thought I did know toward the end of the... I don't know. It's just a question of being able to notice people. And as these things go, I don't have any ill will, of course, toward anybody. It's not that. It's just anybody who's been in a singles ward for a long time and they just have never really been happy with those people in their ward, really, romantically especially. Of course, they're still single or whatever. And then they're brought back to those same folks, even if there's other folks there. Throughout the entire church, and this is also somewhat the case with other folks as well, it's just not something that you really look forward to, or you have to really kind of force yourself to just kind of like it. I don't know how else to explain it. And everybody looks for the people they already know, even though we're grown adults and we should be more outgoing. Everybody's kind of down the dumps, more or less, about their life in some respects, more or less. So, it's like, and then it doesn't really matter what else is planned. You can't really have the greatest time if those feelings are kind of dominating over everything else. So, this all being said, during this fireside or devotional, we have all kinds of words that we use to describe somebody who talks, whether in person or broadcast. All it is just somebody talking. It's not an actual campfire that you're sitting next to. It's the word devotional I heard all the time at BYU. It's just, other churches have their words, we have our words. It's, devotional, I wrote down notes. I did. Some of them were pretty okay, some of them not so nice. But it wasn't really so much directed at the devotional. It was the fact that we were just sitting there listening to somebody, even an apostle of the Lord, instead of talking to each other. Or instead of, I don't know, the people who were organizing this whole thing, including my own dad, wanted as many people to come as possible. I did too. We had, I don't know, out of thousands and thousands of single LDS adults, that were closer on my age, I don't know, 30 to 45 ballpark. I don't know. We had less than 40 show up out of just a gazillion, tons of people. Because of COVID-19, but also because everybody's just like, I don't know, more or less. I don't know. Somebody's going 120 miles an hour. And we had some fun things afterward tonight. Tomorrow is going to be the big day. And, just talking with a few folks that I knew and didn't know so well tonight, I had a few impressions that will be probably more positive than if I actually do read the notes I wrote down during devotional and feelings I had. So they're more positive. So, we played a Monty Python card game, and it was cool. Everybody was nice. We were all pretty friendly. It was a game where you never really knew who was going to win. It was a little bit hard to follow, but I think I understood it after a bit, a little bit better. And there was a rather, I would say, emotional woman there that I guess used to be Lutheran, and talking to one of the guys I know, and it was something where whatever she was feeling, I picked up on, and what she was feeling was pretty awesome and positive. But this was a more emotional woman, folks. Why do I mention this woman? Well, it's because so many LDS women are not that way. At least in my experience. They bottle themselves up. They shut themselves off from other people so many times. I am very familiar with this. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, yes, I am. Especially in singles wards outside of Utah. Women that just bottle themselves up. It's so hard to talk to anybody. This woman was not like that. She was very emotive. She was very sensitive. She had been through some stuff. And she's different than the super poised, super pretty women that stay slim, and it wasn't that she was ugly. She wasn't certainly not ugly. She was a pretty woman. It's just that, she was emotionally reciprocative. She was putting herself out there emotionally, what she was saying. I felt something when she said stuff rather than just the usual crap that I often hear women say when they're just being LDS women, when they're just being whatever. I mean, look. The situation was such where I couldn't really, I don't know. I just appreciated her being there tonight. The one person that was actually talking from her heart. And she just, I don't know. She just wanted to talk about her own feelings about life. And she was opening up about all kinds of stuff. And what's everybody else doing? Well, you could probably guess, hanging out with their usual friends. And this is what I was trying to explain a while back. This is why people hate LDS singles wards so often. And this is why it's so awesome when And it doesn't matter how much you like or dislike a person in a way that just speaks from the heart. At least when you know that someone's speaking from the heart, you know they're speaking from the heart, and it makes a big difference in any experience you have. Who wants to sit through hours and hours and hours of, I would say, superfluous, I wouldn't say meaningless, but emotionally devoid, things that are emotionally devoid, whatever you, what's the word I'm looking for here? Conversation that's emotionally non-existent. You're just blah. Who wants to put themselves through hours and hours of that stuff? Nobody does. This is one of the biggest complaints about, when I was younger, about going to church in general for a lot of people. You know, because you hear people talk and it's always the same stuff. It's supposed to be good for you spiritually. It all depends on how much you are listening and applying everything to your own life. But, you know, after a while, you start wondering, do these people actually care about me? Would it make any difference to all these people here if I just left? I can learn this stuff on my own. I've had all these thoughts before. I'll keep having them over and over again, you know, until I'm perfected or something. So that was wonderful that she was there. I don't think she understands how much I appreciated her being there. I don't know if we'll ever date. I doubt it. It doesn't really matter in some respects. I just appreciated somebody being for real. Because it's really awkward to put yourselves out there like that to complete strangers, and not complete strangers, but people you don't know. And not many people do that. Not too many people do that at all. And I don't care if you're talking about church or parties or wherever. People still just want to talk to people they already know. It's always hard to break the ice. It's especially hard the older you get sometimes. It's easier, but it's harder. So, there was something involving Alex Boyer and Jenny Oaks Baker that I didn't even go to, because I was like, nope, I'm just doing board games. I was just fine with that, really, because, well, yeah. Am I looking forward to everything tomorrow? I guess. It all depends on what? It depends on who's there. Right? Depends on who's there. Of course it would depend on who's there. It wouldn't really have so much to do with what's planned. It just depends on who's there. So there was a girl I noticed that played the piano for this thing tonight. One of the few girls I actually wanted to talk to more. Yeah, I'll mention that more in a bit. What's going on with all that? Train of thought. She was playing piano for an opening song before the devotional fireside. This road, I don't always like this road. This road is hard to see what's going on sometimes. And this rather more attractive woman, curly blonde hair, brownish blonde, she was talking with one of her friends at length after devotional. And of course, did not get the impression that she really wanted to talk to many people. Did not get the impression that she wanted to talk to me. Not that it's anything personal. I just, yeah. Will I see her tomorrow? I don't know. It's, completely out of my hands. If I do see this woman tomorrow, I would like to introduce myself. If that's too awkward for her, so be it. Now you wonder sometimes, why don't I go to a different church? Why don't I go to a different country? It's my life. What's the problem here? Trying to honor my parents' wishes to not go too far from the family's nest. But living in Washington, for crying out loud. You also understand why I get upset with that sometimes. Trying to stay with my testimony about the church, no matter what kind of crap is going on. And in all honesty, yeah, anyway. It's about people when it comes to romantic stuff, isn't it? COVID-19's done. So why can't I just go out and meet people somehow? I don't know. Will it cost money? How much money? Does this involve some kind of online dating site that I keep having these real issues with? I don't know. I kind of feel like shouting at the world at the top of my lungs, but nobody will hear me, nobody will care, except for God, who I'll just talk to in the next life, in all honesty, for the most part. How can anybody really enjoy themselves, though, in this kind of situation? If there were hundreds of people there, and most of them were really wanting to get to know other people, and they're introducing themselves, just like I was at BYU, that would be a different situation for everyone. But it isn't that way. And when you have people that know precisely what to say to people, and they're very polite, very poised, and they try to make everything pleasant for other people, I don't want to marry someone like that. I don't, because those people can be stunningly, shockingly not understanding of when somebody is really, truly aching in their soul, and they don't get it. It's not my kind of person. If that kind of person wants to be polite with me, just like I was at BYU, whatever, they can go ahead and be polite. I'll call them on it every single time. Nobody minds politeness. Everybody likes it. But nobody really truly respects someone who is a tease. Oh, but I'm not a tease, Ben. Really? You know, really? No, you see, look, when somebody criticizes my church, I mean, they can say what they want to about the people. Doctrine is a different situation. Man, they can say whatever they want to about people that they hate that are Mormon. I will listen. Believe me, I will. Even doctrinal things a lot of times, man. Like, of course, I didn't grow up in Provo, guys. I grew up in Tacoma, Washington. Most places in the world, people aren't Mormon in large numbers still. He said, "Oh, I said still. Oh, it must alienate some people, right? Because I want everybody to be Mormon, right?" You know, I really wish that all of us would have a different perspective on religion and stuff. More to the point, I just think we all need to be in the same club. All the same church, God's church. I believe that our doctrine is that doctrine, that true church. And that's where that's coming from, you know. Didn't really want to talk about all that. But heck, I just, you know, this is what oftentimes these events are. Something spiritual and something social. It's always the same stuff. It's always in the same order. It's mind-numbing. And then so many of us LDS singles, we trod over to these activities and we often just get really super discouraged, actually depressed, actually worse than that. Because it seems like nothing ever seems to change, really. You know, just it's always the same crap, you know. And people are still going to be, you know, the way that they've always been, whether they're LDS or not, until what? Until you move, right? Until you somehow meet new people, or until you, right? And it's hard to look inside yourself and repent and try to change, but that's where real change happens. Well, I guess. Look, you know, I mean, there's in my life, honestly, like, it was torture being around some people for so long when I was younger. And so I don't buy the everything will be better when you get into college crap. No, I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. I don't believe in a lot of the things that my parents believe in regarding all things social. I just don't. I mean, it's just not that cut and dry about all things social. I in my life, I have had very little faith that God is doing his little stuff, you know, his little working his little magic, with people romantically or otherwise, friendships and stuff. I don't really believe it. And other people, I love how some people do. I do have faith that he does other things like that, but when it comes to other people, man, I just no. You know, fasting and praying about some person repenting or being a nicer person or whatever it is, I have so little faith that actually works. You know, we say, well, it's up to the Lord. Well, why are we fasting about it? Why are we praying about it? It's just showing the Lord that we really are sincere about our feelings. And, you know, it's one of those trains of thought where I just kind of go, hey, you know what? The Lord knows precisely what's going on with my life. He knows every jot and tittle of what's going on. What is this? Is this some kind of test of my own character to just, you know, open up to me about all this stuff? It is, isn't it? It's all about my own personal growth. It has nothing to do with what's actually going to happen in terms of what situations will be alleviated or not, or what situations will get better or not. It has nothing to do with that whatsoever. Because what the Lord wants, he'll have. Because he's God. Apparently it's just, you know, when you say certain things that are tough that are going on in your life, then you're able to get that out of your system and it maybe helps you feel better and then you feel more humble. It's not going to change anything. You know, when you have a really bad job or when you guys, I don't know what kind of marital relationships you have or whatever the case is, with all you guys in your lives, anything that's not so great, anything that's hard to go through, do you guys really think that prayer to the Lord is going to eliminate some of these really difficult things? Or do you think things are actually going to get better just from praying and fasting about it? And this is coming from somebody, I consider myself to be a pretty religious person. All I can say is, maybe that will happen, but maybe not. So again, what's the point? Well, the point is it something internal? You know, and then someone says, you know, very disparaging things about God. It's some sick joke, you know, that he's pulling on people. Of course, that sounds like the devil's advocate when he's talking about sex drive and stuff. But, you know, the thing is that, no, I just, you move, you're in a different situation, you're in college, or you go to a different college, or whatever. And then that changes everybody you know. And supposedly that makes everything better, right? Well, I don't know, maybe. You know, I've often thought, here I am. I'm this kind of person who I really prefer to be around certain kinds of people. And I always thought that those people were members of the church for the most part, many other people as well. But why is it that, with my members of my church, that everything has been so difficult? If it was a true church, it would be different than that. I've had those thoughts as well, and I had to, just keep telling myself over and over again that it isn't really the people that makes the church true; it's the doctrine. But I would think that the people are pretty great. I just don't know most of them. And if I've ever known some of the more awesome folks, they kind of took me for granted, or I didn't talk to them as much as I wanted to, or, they just moved on with whatever was going on in their lives. When you're younger, everything is very transient. Everybody's moving in and out. When you meet an awesome girl and she's, oh, I'm sorry, I'm moving. I'm going to college. Oh, well, you didn't really have many feelings for me probably anyway, did you? And then it's something also that many other people experience. Doesn't matter what religion you are. You would expect, you'd want some kind of permanency, but you can't have that permanency until your life is feeling permanent. You can't settle down, and really, truly, honestly, until you feel settled down. Until you're like, oh, okay, this is how this is how I truly want my life to be. And I just had a family reunion with all my relatives, with all my family, it's just my siblings. I don't know personally if they're all really happy with their lives, but I'm willing to bet that they, by and large, are. I'm not, but I know what I am happy with, at least. And I've always been myself. I've never been somebody else. Never. And I've wondered, am I something wrong with me? I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, in terms of anything really significantly, like wrong character-wise or something. I just think that most people just don't get it, how people like myself are. And if you guys have been watching a lot of my videos, you'll know how I am. I've always been myself. I knew that was the only way to go, really, with YouTube. And I mentioned this, mentioned a lot of things tonight. I'm planning on mentioning some other stuff about a dream I had last night. I'm also going to plan on maybe even having a more negative video, but I'm not sure at this point. I'll be doing that because I think I've mentioned a fair bit of stuff I wrote down notes for, but I still might do that video. It's all about being for real with other people, man. How can anybody consider themselves to be religious and not pick up on the real vibes of other people and not care about what's really going on with people? To me, this just has never sat well with me. It doesn't, if you just aren't as interested in being friends with somebody, I understand. But when you just don't even acknowledge that people are going through stuff, you don't even listen, who has time for those people anyway? I don't care how accomplished they are. I don't care what's going on. I don't care how attractive they are. I don't care about any of that stuff. I don't care what commandments they're keeping, all of them. I don't care. I don't care. All I care about is how real people are with each other. That's it. That is it. Of course, it would probably help if they weren't complete basket cases. Yeah, they had their heads screwed on somewhat right? But, I don't know. I haven't known too many really super nutty people, but certainly some. I just keep getting that feeling that I just need to get out and meet more people. That's it. But not at bars. And not anything meaning giving up my membership in my church. Those two things have to be out. Okay, leave your thoughts and comments below. Catch you later. Take care. Bye.